So what's one of the first?
Okay, so we have some subjects that were part of this free intro talk that we just kind of want to touch base on. And the first one is what is a spiritual guardian? And to me, in order to answer that fully, we have to define what a guardian is. And to me, a guardian is a protector, is a server of their family, their community, their friends, but most importantly, themselves. And it's the one that takes care of what is needed, whether that be safety, whether that be gathering resources, whether that be just doing the dishes or doing a simple mission of gathering food, whatever it is. In our modern world, you can frame it in however way you want.
Being a guardian.
Being a guardian.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a protector, it's being of service. And when you add the spiritual side to it, a spiritual guardian, it's not just being protective and serving in the physical way, but also in the energetical way through energy. So that's where the
paying attention to the vibe,
paying attention to when energy needs to be alchemized, transmuted, cleared. And then what is that? Is it just some leftover residue of an emotion, or is it an entity? So that's what it's like taking guardian to both realms, the physical realm and also the non-physical energetical realm.
And I think you said most importantly ourselves, not to put ourselves above everyone and everything else, but because it's kind of like in the airplane, you put your own oxygen mask on first before you try to help somebody else. So if you're aware and regulating your own energy body and the space around you, then you can be more prepared to assist other people with things that come up.
Yeah, which is why this level 1 training focuses a lot on the individual and your inner world as well as your outer world. So really getting these fundamental practices and teachings down, like the mental mastery, developing your psychic ability, knowing how to find that discernment, that inner guidance that tells you yes and no, or what shouldn't I, really knowing how to listen to that inner guidance, your guides, your guardians, and knowing the difference of that and something else. Because you really can't fully, deeply clear, in my experience, on a deep level, on a complex level, with something that may be pretty dark or dense as far as entities, if you don't have these foundations that we're going to be going through in this level 1 training really in place, not completely mastered, not completely, what's the word, like you're never done learning, but having a solid foundation of the basics is very important to be able to go deeper into this, holding this guardianship for yourself and your friends and your family, and then even possibly doing this as a service to the community.
Yeah, and it's a commitment. It's a personal commitment to yourself and your own life, because doing things every day in order to clear and cleanse your energy field and align yourself with your higher self and is a process. So we kind of encourage people to take one thing at a time, because there's a lot that can be shifted in the current state of the world that we're in right now, and things that used to be normal to us, we can't tolerate anymore, because once you get clean, so to speak, then you start becoming more and more sensitive to how different things are affecting us.
The contrast is
the
bigger.
Contrast, yeah.
And as you become, this could also be called being a light worker, I guess, is a spiritual guardian. That term is around being a light worker, is working with energy, clearing, balancing, and yourself and people's energy. But the biggest thing with this training is learning these basics that we'll go over in this course. That's in the description. Really understanding them and owning them in your body and in your life, because as you start to do clearing, on a deeper level with actual entities, and we'll get to a little bit on what that, like, what are entities. But when you start to go down this path of removing entities from yourself, especially from others and spaces, the more you do it, the more light you're shining, the more you awaken in your body, you become purified, you become healthy and whole, the brighter your energy gets, your aura gets. And when that combined with the work that you do is also bringing in more light, you can get more targeted by these darker forces. And like, for example, today, it was a
rough. It was a hard
very,
day.
very challenging day for me. All of my triggers and all the stuff that I'm working on got amplified, and I could have easily, and I did a little bit, slip up and go into anger or frustration and get totally thrown off and get totally ungrounded. And it was happening like a roller coaster. And I had to constantly go into my practice and my tools and reground and take space and breathe and move through the energy and move through the energy, whether we're being targeted or not by darker forces or what have you. Something was happening. And it was our first time we're launching this course. It's the first intro class to the course, and it just so happened this was one of the hardest days I've gone through in a long time. So
Well,
coincidence, maybe.
I think when we commit to something, we have to show up with like, okay, how committed are we?
Right.
Are we going to show up fully 100% and actually use the tools that we know how to use?
My point being, though, is learning the basics is really important, because we do become a brighter light in this world. And there are, if there's light, there's darkness. If there are angels, then there's demons. If there's if there's a heaven realm, there's a hell realm. There are these structures of energy that do love destruction, terror, violence, and they can F with you. And whether that was happening to us today or not, something was happening. And if you don't, or if you aren't in this place where you know the difference between your thoughts and not your thoughts, your emotions and other things' emotions, how to get grounded, how to move through energy, how to clear energy, you can get thrown off doing energy clearing, and it could really mess you up in different ways. So that's why we're starting with kind of these basics. And once you get them locked in and you start owning them, then you can go into more deeper type of entity clearing, at least from as far as our personal opinion. So that's what
from our experience and from the training that we've received as well.
Yeah.
We'll start with just learning how to regulate your own energy body.
Yeah.
Learning how to notice when there might be something influencing you because your thoughts are going down a track that is not supportive or helpful for your highest and best good, and then redirecting yourself so that you're back on track again. Yeah. So that's where level 1 begins, with doing that inner work for yourself personally and learning how to regulate your own energy body.
Yeah. And this is all coming from our many years of experience. We both come from different backgrounds and over 30 years of combined experience doing some sort of energy work or energy clearing type thing. So, okay. So should we move on to a different topic?
Yeah. And I'll just say really quick, as far as where we are coming from, I have high level initiations in the Western Hermetic tradition, which is very well known for being demon fighters, I guess, but I'm not a demon fighter. I'm a demon dismisser. So I don't
their place.
Yeah, I just say, okay,
with love,
you don't get to be here anymore. I don't engage in warfare.
Yeah, we don't fight.
We don't fight, and that's not what this is about. It's not being in battle. It's ending the battle.
So you were talking about background. So
yeah, Western Hermetic tradition, third step ritual master, which is I've had some really wild experiences through my initiatory lineage, but we can talk about more in detail another time.
Yeah, and my original background in moving like transmuting, moving, clearing energy comes from like Native American, and then Tibetan Buddhism, and different forms of shamanism in that the Bon Tibetan Buddhism form. And then we both have been trained by Tatiana Sakurai in her light training, her light work training, entity clearing programs and such like that. So moving on. Okay. Should we just go to the next one? What is harmful energy and why it sometimes needs to be cleared? So what is energy? Like, what do we mean by when we're clearing energy? What is energy?
Well,
what's the simplest form definition of energy?
It's frequency.
And why is it
vibrational frequency? And just like there's different frequencies that emit a color, like red has a specific wavelength and frequency, and yellow is different, blue is different, on and on. And then emotions have frequencies of energy, and words and emotions create structures, geometrical structures within our bodies that we can feel. And so one of the ways that we can experience energy is through emotions, and emotions leave an energetic imprint in physical spaces. So that's why sometimes you walk into a place where people were fighting and you can feel like the tension in the air, because the emotions have left an imprint on the water molecules in the air, actually. And some of that stuff gets stuck in corners, it gets stuck in specific locations, and it causes things to continue happening that are just like that again and again, unless you go in and clear it. That's one of the ways that energy affects us. And what else?
Yeah. So why does it sometimes need to be cleared? I guess you touched on that. So like when you walk into, the simplest example is you walk into a room, or you remember when you were a kid, I remember like my parents would argue, right? And then they'd stop and they'd leave, and I'd go into the room, and I remember it just feels bad. This just feels so bad. Like there's this, like you can't really explain it, but there's just a bad feeling, because you know what a good feeling is, you know what the bad feeling is. That's energy. There's a signet, there's an energy structure that are in those boxed walls. Usually, a room is a box, it's a container, that energy is being contained. And I like feeling good. Everyone at the core of their being ultimately wants to feel good. So many things we do with our life is because we simply want to feel good. So why would we want to sit in that room when you can simply just do a few things and oh, wow. Oh, that feels better. Some people stay in that, live in that, and it can affect us on an emotional, physical, energetical, spiritual level, being in those energy structures of quote unquote negative or dense or darker or whatever you want to call it, energy. And especially the more intense something happens. So if there was some sort of abuse that was deep, violence, rituals that went on a piece of land 300 years ago, if the land doesn't get cleared somehow, naturally or by human, that energy can just stay and build and then attract other energies that match that energy, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows like a fungus or like a what have you. And that's not helping anyone ultimately. So in my opinion, so we can clear that. We can
shift the frequency,
wipe the slate clean, and it's an amazing tool to have, because it really, really can make a massive difference in our lives in so many different ways. So, anything else about that?
Should we give some examples?
No, I think it's good. So let's move, because already it's 7:30.
Okay.
What are malevolent entities and the different types of them? So this is a big topic, and level 2 training that will be available to people who graduate from level 1 we're going to dive more deeply into clearing of entities, entity clearing, and that protocol and that process that we do and that we're going to offer. This level 1 training will touch on that, and we're going to give like a more basic intro to how to clear entities, but it's not going to focus just on entities. It will be a part of it, but we can dive into a little bit, and we will be touching base on what entities are and the different types of entities in this training. So there are spiritual guides, angels, people call them, animal guides. There's the malevolent, I always forget this, benevolent side of entities that are here supporting us. They can be ancestors. They can, again, be angels, blah, blah, galactic beings that are assisting life, that are promoting life, health,
bringing us
healing, joy, the evolution of the earth, consciousness, and humanity. There are also the opposite, not evil, in my opinion, not bad or anything like that, but there are other beings that also, like I said, if love exists, then the opposite of love has to exist. And there are certain beings from our experience that are just destructive in nature. They violent, manipulative, lying, destroying, and they feed, just like certain creatures and bugs and animals feed on dead things or gross things you would never even think about. There are things that feed on fear and hate and anger and destruction and war and anxiety. They have a purpose, because ultimately we believe the dark serves the light. It's another topic, but these dark entities, we call them shadow entities, foreign entities, malevolent. They can cause unnecessary, especially unnecessary time of suffering for specific humans, increasing ailments that are causing suffering to people. And we have found, and other people as well that do this work, that when you remove these shadow entities from your auric body, from your home, from your life, things shift. Things can shift, and things can shift quickly, and things can shift, and people's lives can be changed.
It's so kind of like,
why not do it if it's helping?
It's kind of like having a wound and not cleaning it, and the wound becoming infected, and then you have to kill the infection.
Just praying that it will go away, maybe, or something.
Or ignoring it. You have to kill the infection for the wound to heal. Or it's like, you clean your house, you clean your bathroom physically, you clean your kitchen physically. Otherwise, you can get sick.
Right.
And these things are showing us our weak spots. They're showing us places where we need to pay closer attention and be more mindful and get into right alignment with ourselves and God. And if we ignore it, it gets worse and worse. So that's what the tools are for, is to assist with cleaning things up so that we're staying healthy and well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we won't go into what these different entities are. If you go to torrentcollective.com, click on entity clearing, entity removal, or go to one of our blogs, I have a very deep dive into the different type of entities and what we think they are, because we don't really know for sure, right? It's kind of impossible to actually know 100% about what entities are.
It's subjective.
Because it's we can't know 100%. But there are many different types that we've experienced and that we have categories of. It's nice to have categories of them, because when you clear them, you can put them in a category and you can have them freeze, you can call them out, and then you can clear them. And I just want, before I go into that, when we clear, I just want to make a note that, again, we're not battling energy. We're not battling entities. We're not shooing it off like, no more entities, bad energy gone. It's not about that. We work, our biggest tool is love
and joy.
And laughter and joy. So when we clear these entities, we're doing it with grace and with love,
appreciation,
and with appreciation ultimately, because they are helping us. And we'll dive deeper into why that is in the training. But so when we're clearing, it's with love, and we're sending them to a place where they can do no harm, or we're sending them to a place of their next evolution if they choose to do that, or back to where they belong. So it's done with love. I just want to make that clear. Different type of entities, demons, ghosts, people that have died that are still around for whatever reason, beings from other planets, other galaxies, beings that are kind of more robotic, that are sucking chi from us. They all suck chi, energy, prana, life force from us.
Other dimensional
beings. Everything you can kind of think of. The movies really show, I feel, what they do a good caption of what the entities are. A lot of movies show us truths. So there's a whole different category, a whole list of different types that we've encountered. They're all ultimately do the same thing. They cause suffering in some sort of a way, and promote it. So taurencollective.com, go to our blogs or go to the entity clearing, energy removal, paranormal page, and you can go deeper into the different types of entities and what we think they are based on our experience. Yeah. So what is entity attachment, and why is it important to clear it, Kriana? Just what do you want me to do? Talk about that. Just great basic.
Yeah, entity attachment is what we're referring there to undesirable foreign malevolent entities, specifically, and we can pick them up all kinds of ways. They ride in through frequencies such as fear, anxiety, judgment, denser vibrational energies. And when we have those kinds of emotions or thoughts in those categories, they have an easy way to attach. And we have the subconscious aspects of ourselves, and they can attach through our subconscious desires, thoughts, beliefs. And when they do that, they're just, like we said earlier, showing us our weak spots where we need to become stronger, more aligned, more aware. And what was the other part of it?
Why is it important to clear entity attachment? So what can happen if there's entities attached to our energetic body or body, and what can happen?
They can influence us to do all kinds of things that are harmful to ourselves and others, such as going to the bar. You might just suddenly start wanting to go, oh, I'm just going to take up drinking for some unknown reason. And you go and you start drinking, and you start drinking more and more. And sometimes it's, a being that's living vicariously through you who was previously an alcoholic, or a being that is influencing you through a weak spot, you not having good discernment to do things that are harmful to yourself.
Yeah. It's one of the books that is one of the only books we have a required reading book called The Unquiet Dead. And it's pretty remarkable. A psychiatrist, hypnotherapist learns how to do entity clearing and works with people with entity possession. And she documented the cases. Oh, light just changed. Oh, look at that. And it's remarkable. Some people who have been dealing with obesity for years, tried every diet, every program, surgery, all this stuff, can't lose weight, can't stop the addictions. They go through entity possession clearing. They notice there's an entity attached to them that was addicted to certain foods or was obese themselves. They're still staying around in the spirit world, find someone, hang out with them, and is literally eating through them and encouraging that person to eat the food that they eat. Remove that entity, person cravings gone. lose the way. Might not happen to everyone, but it happened to this person that was documented. So they can influence us in every aspect of our lives.
And it can be more subtle too.
It could be so subtle. It could be the movies you watch. It could be the anything.
Your self-talk.
Your interests, your self-talk. That's not subtle.
A huge
that's
one.
huge.
But people might not notice that they're being influenced by something outside of themselves. They might think it's their own thoughts.
How you dress, the job you have, your political stance,
the people you get into relationships,
your gender, anything can be influenced by something that's not you. And the only reason I feel I'm valid in saying that is because of the studies we've seen from other people doing this work and the results of entity possession clearing. And then what I've personally experienced dealing with entity possession and myself.
And our clients.
Again, one of my blogs talks about my experience with entity possession and how it changed my life. So that's something you can check out. So it's very important. We can be living our entire life. Every avenue and aspect of our life can be coming from something that is not truly our soul and ourself. So crazy.
So by clearing, we get to find out who we truly are without all of that influence.
It's remarkable. It's huge. You might not even really know who you are. I didn't. I thought I was this and into this, and this was my hobby, and this was my passion, and this was the music I listened to, and this is how I dressed. And then I had this clearing, and I was like,
I can't even wear this t-shirt anymore. You took your t-shirt off.
I was wearing this like dark satanic t-shirt because I was into dark music and Satanism and all these different weird things. I don't know why, because I never really was that like.
And you were a yoga teacher at the same
time.
Anyway,
and I took this t-shirt off and I couldn't listen to the music anymore. And my passion of working in haunted houses changed. And I was like, who am I? What? How is that even possible? So it goes deep, man. And there's so much more of this again on our website. So clearing entities can help you experience who you really are and what you're really into, and it could reveal to you your true life's purpose and passion and interests and personality.
And you can feel better.
Well, yeah,
in general.
Of course. So we got,
let's see. Make healthier choices.
Who is spiritual guardian training for? Spiritual guardian training is for anyone that feels the call. If you're watching this video, then there's something that's calling you of a guardian and taking on this role and this responsibility. And it's something you probably have been most of your life. So that's one thing, is if you're watching this and you're into this and you're 45 minutes deep, then this is something that's might be of great value to you. It's for anyone who works with energy, Reiki practitioners, shaman work, medicine work, if you do plant medicine or something like that. Any person who does work in the, what's the word called? The energy, metaphysical world, but even people who don't do that as a profession or as a service, and you just feel this call to assist humanity in this way, and you have some background maybe in clearing or working with energy or not, but don't do it professionally, this can be for you as well. It can also be for someone who's not really into the spiritual, metaphysical, energetical world, but feels this calling from their soul, from their interest, and an excitement when you hear this, but you're like, oh, I've never taken a yoga class, or I don't even know how to clear with sage or something. This can be for you, because this again is a basic level 1 foundational course. So that could be for you as well, even if this is kind of this world is brand new to you. This could be a good first step.
And it can be for people that just want it for themselves and their
family
members, for their land. You could do level 1 and level 2 and receive so much information just for that purpose. Or it could be for someone who wants to do this work specifically professionally. as well.
Combined with whatever else you do in that world. So yeah. Let's move into this the key. You were going to offer a key and an ancient
Yeah.
ritual to clear and protect yourself. We got about 12 minutes.
Yeah. So the key that I wanted to share today is like we were saying, we don't battle. We don't get into fights with these energies. We literally are the equivalent of walking into a room and turning the lights on. It's that simple. And the way that we turn the lights on is by spreading love, appreciation, and joy into places where it hasn't been, into stagnant areas. And that is the most powerful tool that we have. There's a lot more that can give us a lot more empowerment to be able to have confidence in those things and to know how to direct it, where to direct it, when to direct it, etc. But the basic thing that we're working with is the frequency of love. And so when a lot of people smudge, they, come in with a feather or a sage stick and kind of just wave it around. And maybe people are thinking, oh, get out of here, bad vibes or whatever. But we're not doing that. You walk in and everything you look at when you're smudging, we're thinking and speaking out loud. Thank you. Thank you for these windows. Thank you for this table. Thank you for this refrigerator. Thank you for this land. Thank you for these trees, etc. On and on. Just thank you. Being in that massive expression of gratitude and appreciation. And that goes a long way with clearing stagnant, heavy energies. So that was the key that I wanted to give.